So another important thing is that we need to arrange for emergency intervention. Like this, it rarely happens, and it does happen. So whether it's face-to-face or online. So we really need to set this up in a way that's going to work for our clients. So whenever you start therapy with a client that lives somewhere else, check in advance the emergency contact numbers in the client's neighborhood just in case. You'll also want to have the name and phone number of a contact person in case of emergency. So in terms of handling a crisis, refer to your intake notes and locate your client's community emergency and safety resources in your client's geographic area. Connect them. And it can also be you reaching out. You can make a plan for your client to do that, but you can also be the contingency and the bridge that joins them. If your client indicates harm to self or others and you cannot make contact with your client or do not know your client's exact location, contact your local police department and explain your situation. The police may intervene by tracing the client's ISP. It is also vital to have emergency numbers on your website. And so these are some of the websites that I have found useful, which is the Worldwide Crisis Line, befrienders.org, and the Canadian Crisis Line, crisisservicescanada.ca. So this one's really, really important and sometimes gets missed when we work online. So do not ignore anything that happens on the screen and the room of the client or clients. Some incidents that we would not ignore if they happen in our office, i.e. bringing the cat into the space or leaving the room in the middle of the session, are easily ignored online. Like other incidents in the therapeutic field, such events clearly hide in plain sight. However, somehow many therapists forget when it comes to online details. Be aware of such transparent incidents and include them in mutual exploration. So you might say something like, oh, I noticed that you got up halfway through art making and disappeared for 5 minutes. Do you want to talk about what happened at that time? So remembering that everything that happens within a session is information, and being able to talk about our clients and bring attention to that. So I also wanted to discuss some of the common challenges. So there are many challenges in facilitating online therapy, and we can, by being aware of them, it supports us to be able to work with them and through them, because the whole point is to remain calm, focused, positive when any of these difficulties are arising. And it's also really important that if you are having difficulties, to seek out consultation and supervision when necessary to address the unique complexities of an ethical issue in a client case. So, technological challenges, slow or broken connection. So you may continue the call via phone. If there are difficulty using platforms, you might help your client get more training, so you could be able to support them. If there's difficulty in viewing the art, you might email it or screen share. There might be barriers to the therapeutic process, such as nonverbal clues. So we're going to invite clients to sit further back, use more descriptive language, attend to eye contact, communicate how the experience is landing in you. You might also need more verbal check-ins than you would have. It's also important to name that you're in the client space and how unusual that is. That might induce a higher level of disclosure or less professionalism. We need to maintain professional dress, behavior, communication, and visual background. Set expectations in the informed consent process. Other risks include crisis management and how to support the client when you're not physically with them. And so we just talked about that. So remembering to have a safety plan in place prior to the crisis, and if relevant, becoming familiar with the crisis intervention services in the area of the client is living. Ensure that the client has access to these contacts. You might also have a risk of Zoom fatigue for the therapist. So you must create a schedule that includes breaks and time to get up and move your body and get outside. Do not overschedule sessions in the day. Leave enough transition time between sessions. Consider all the number of hours on screen, not just in video sessions. So there is limited access to supervision and consultation with professionals who are experienced with online therapy. Check in with colleagues, professional associations, and regulatory bodies to find experienced supervisors. Network at the conferences, and also attend the CADA conference, because there are so many resources being shared right now. There's also a lack of theory and literature, especially in working with children in the online art therapy setting. So seek supervision and consultation, start writing, and publish new research. So it's really cool that, like, you know, you are being somebody who's taking a leap forward in your career and in our profession. So really stepping out and sharing what you know.